crisis. We're talking about Venezuela once again. Systemic important tanks. They removed the 1,000 called monetary awareness. RTD News Midday Check-in. Wanted to connect and just bring more or shine more light rather on the narratives as they shift, as more of the or more information is given about the overall agenda towards understanding this whole cryptographic takeover that's underway right now, and how some of the narratives are changing, but yet the players are still the same. So I want to just share with you my 2 cents on some things. I also share a personal story relating to how code is not law, even though that was the whole cryptographic model towards the beginning of this whole Bitcoin, Ethereum introduction. And so I got my opinions and I want to share it with you guys, and also give you an update on the Hegelian Dialectic visual that I did, that we did yesterday, based upon your feedback. So I want to thank you guys for that as well. And basically just give it, show you what it looks like, and then let you guys do with it what you may. But anyway, due to, and this is a great opportunity for everybody that's new to the community. Definitely welcome to the community. I'm going to do more of these little drop-ins. So it makes you want to stay plugged in, hit that bell notification, and make sure you subscribe so you get more notifications when we go live. And just because that's my thoughts will start churning. If I'm available, if I'm able, I want to jump on and communicate with you guys in real time, so it'll be fresh thoughts. But I had an interesting conversation with one of the community members in the on the social platforms, and instead of just going back and forth giving a long-winded answer, I thought I would just shine more light on my angle and go from that point. So if you're not, connect on Telegram, connect on Discord, follow me on Twitter and all the other social spots, link below, so you can stay connected in real time. Anyway, so let me just, as always, I want to try to do shorter, more concise, straight to the point, less rants, but my thought works best when they're just flowing freely. But once again, hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and we'll jump right in. So I want to share my 2 cents on some things, dealing with 2 particular things. I finished a graphic and I put it in the Telegram and the Discord. And when I was typing out the short explanation, some words came to mind that I thought I would elaborate on. So I'll start off by showing you exactly what I put in the Telegram, if I can bring it up on the screen here, and let you guys see it for yourself. No, wrong one. Add to stream. So here's just the visual aid that I finished. I'll give you the bigger version, but I want to start off with these words here before I get into my little rant and highlight how more of what's being revealed is nothing new. It's just the narrative is changing. Same game, same players, just different tools. Anyway, so I finished a little problem reaction solution based upon feedback from yesterday. And then this is what I put out there. And I'll love to have your feedback. It said, did I miss anything? People fail to realize the greater agenda is not about money. And I put debt, credit, or commodities. The goal is a single world currency and the governance model that makes that possible. How can cryptographic tokens be a solution for a problem they gave humanity? It says, don't focus on what's in your pocket, but pay attention to what they want to do to your body and your soul. I said, after this week in Davos, the game will be elevated to a new level of tyranny. And then I said, remember, not your code, not your consensus, not your coins. And so that's a statement that I want to further elaborate on, just because a lot of people are very excited about the cryptographic token model. And I'm not techie whatsoever. I'm not going to pretend to be. But based upon my opinions about what's really going on, I realize that in between now and when it all ends, there's going to be a lot of diversion tactics and distractions that will lure people into thinking that, this particular rabbit hole might be freedom. This one might be, the white hats working on our good. And so it's just all there's you pick one, you can find a cause that will give you some form of optimistic viewpoints to the fact that, there's still a chance to use these items to find freedom of some kind. And so I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but I just want to be real 100 according to what I think. And so I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But once again, I want to be real. And so the whole cryptographic tokens, I think are better words to use, because there's different people in the community that have different coins, projects, or tokens or whatever that they are excited about. And of course, everybody here, we're going to have people check in from the XRP community, people from the Stellar community, people from the Bitcoin Maximus. We're going to have Ethereum Maximus. We'll have all these people. Mind you, those are different pathways in the same direction from different creators. But then again, the consensus model behind all of those platforms are subject to change, because code is what was used to create those blockchains are not immutable. They're subject to change based upon the consensus model, which is the governing structure of how those projects will operate. Now, some people might say, whatever. Trust me, it's happened before. It's going to happen again. I was a victim. And there might be people out here who can relate to my story of how all of a sudden, unbeknown to you, when the consensus model changes, poof, there go your coins. And I'm going to share my viewpoints on that, to where in the midst of a planned great reset, code is not law. It's subject to whoever is answering to the financiers of the people supporting projects. And I'm about to show you how Mr. Jamie Dimon has been there all along. And he's been a major funder of a lot of projects. And nothing is new here. Same players, different game, same game, different tools. That's all this is. And let me explain to you why. And so I'm going to put a variety of articles in front of you. Do with them what you may, but listen, there's nothing new under the sun. Just trust me on that one. Different player, different name, same tools, same game. Okay, so where did all this come from? So I want to go back to, this is on the screen here. This is from yesterday. So this is what I was able to put together based upon the feedback I got from you guys. So as always, I appreciate you, because this would not have turned out the way that it did had I not gotten your feedback. So for everybody that chimed in, you know who you are, and I'm sure you can see some of your work on here. But here's just the summary of everything that I believe this community and everybody who's not in this community will be confronted with, and things that more people need to talk about. No matter what crypto project you have, this is what is underway right now. We were told about this 30-something years ago. Here we are today. All the pieces of the puzzle have come together for me completely. Like, I think that this is a great summary of what we're up against. And I don't want people to be continuously misled and thinking that it's about your pockets. It's about, how much can you make off of this? No, it's bigger than that. Like, this is about your bodily autonomy. Like, there's some really evil things going on. And today is the last day of Davos. And when this meeting concludes, when they get back to their countries, they're going to all be on the same page. Like, you better believe all those world leaders and business leaders that gathered over the last 3 or 4 days, they were charging each other up and stirring each other up and encouraging one another to go back and do more of what we got to do to execute this agenda to take over humanity, because that was what they told us they were going to do. And so, without ranting too much longer, as you guys can see here, I'm going to just read off some of the bullets. So these are some of the bullets here. And of course, they are subject to change. And I'm going to elaborate further on them in more rants. But give you an idea. Rothschild, Hegelian Dialectic. And I put the quote. This is quoted apparently from the Rothschild, from Amschel, Rothschild, or Nathaniel, either one. Take it for what it's worth. But it does a good job of summarizing everything else. Give me control of a nation's money, and I care not who makes the laws. So the primary subject matter, a nation's money. Or give me control of the global currency, and I don't care who the government is. You know what I'm saying? Like, see that quote I just gave you? That's the type of stuff we need to focus on, I believe. And so here, what's the overall agenda? It's simple. Biblically, the Bible told us what's coming down the line: a world currency and a one world government. That is the agenda. Make no mistake. Whatever pathway we get to that point, that's where we're heading at some point. So here's the problems. The problems that they create, they told us about. So this is the problems that came about in 1988 when they wrote this cover and put it out before the world. And the problem was, their solution was a world currency, which is why the agenda is the way it is. Here's the problems that we're experiencing now, which makes this whole idea of cryptography and cryptographic tokens so intriguing in people, because the problems are right in front of us. Fiat debasement, fiat currencies. Every single country is going through hiccups right now. Oh, could that be a part of the reason why they suggested there was a need for world currency? National indebtedness. Every single country, for the most part, is above their necks in debt. All types of derivatives and all types of financial products based upon fake currency behind it. That's a problem. It's more than enough reason, 305 trillion to be exact, of national global indebtedness. The next one, welfare state. Every country now has a good portion of the population heavily dependent upon the government, and especially based upon last 2 years with stimulus checks and PPP and all the other further government expanding into people's lives, that's more than enough problems to make it easier for people to take that orange pill or the whatever pill out there, whatever pill your project you prefer to peel, and be like, think that's going to be the change that's needed. But mind you, these problems were set up to introduce a solution. And it so happens that the solution needed time to develop. So how did it take this? What was the time? The reaction. Software and the tech development. They couldn't introduce a world currency or the concept of a world currency until the technology was fully developed. So software and technology, and the tech, I can go a lot deeper in the tech. Like even in the Telegram, when I put this picture out there, I put an article to link back to one of the community members that put out a thought, an idea, and the person mentioned, hey, good thing I'm broke, I ain't got no worries or something like that. I'm thinking and I responded with an article telling them that it's not about whether you have money or not. It doesn't matter, so the long-term future is it's not about what you have, it's who you are. And based upon a Microsoft patent showing that the next level of this fourth industrial revolution is not about actual physical possessions outside you, it is about you. And there's a patent for technology that will use your kinetic energy, your heart rate. When you move, monetization, somebody's making money off your activity when you move in the future that they have planned for. So go check that article out in the Telegram group. Go find this picture and you'll see that article. And so that's a part of the future that they have in store in the fourth industrial revolution, if we get to that point. So just to let you go. Anyway, I'm going to get to more, but I got to get this off my chest real quick. So next one here, global cooperation. We got to come together and heal. We got all these crises. We got to come together in one government. Oh, okay, sure. Next bullet, call for climate concerns, financial inclusion, stakeholder capitalism. Those are the reactions to the problems up top that they created. So what are the solutions? Oh, couldn't get no better than this. Here's their solutions. And doesn't this play well with all the excitement that's out there in the different cryptographic and technology, areas? Cryptographic tokens. So those are the two words I think people should focus on, rather than just jumping on the bandwagon, focus on one in particular project. No matter what your favorite project is, underneath that is code, and code is subject to change based upon the consensus model. I'm going to show you why that is in a minute. But just the more the points I'm trying to hit home. Cryptographic tokens should be your focal point. Cryptographic tokens are just simply computer code that has a function and has a purpose created by the designer of the code to execute whatever it is on top, and to participate on that blockchain. It spins off fractions of code that people can tokenize and put in their own wallet, and gives them access and permission to interact with that particular chain. Think about it. It's a chain. It's just a ledger. It's like Rochelle mentioned in her video. It's a way of keeping tabs of transactions on a ledger. That's all it is. And you can hold a piece of it. Okay, cool. But then again, there's all types. But the technology was suggested as a part of the reaction to the problem they created. And what better way to entice people to go along with it other than to dangle a carrot in front of them, make them think it's freedom in that code. But mind you, you didn't write it. You don't control the consensus. And you won't control the coins eventually. I'm telling you this. Next one, part of their solution, digital identification. We got to be able to track and monitor, make sure everybody's healthy, credit score, whatever. And then last one, World Health Collaboration, with the whole pandemic treaty and all the other new world agendas that's underway. So this is what we're up against right now. Don't just focus on a coin, a project, or any type of tech as if that's going to free you, because that was a part of the solution that they came up with when they gave us the problem. Okay. Getting fired up here. Forgive me. Okay. So let me get to the rest of my point. Okay, so where are we at right now? The narrative's changing. More people who were critics 3, 4, 5 years ago, oh, don't touch Bitcoin, don't touch this stuff is a scam, it's whatever. They were there all along. And the most important one, who happens to be a part of the banking model that created this problem, he knows what's going on. He was there all along. And now he's changed his tune. But he didn't change his tune. It's just time to come out of the closet, in a sense, and let the world know that, hey, we support this to sucker more people in. Okay, let me get to my point. See, I get fired up. So based upon the conversation I had earlier in the community, the consensus, or the thought was, there's a hope and optimism that software will provide opportunities for people to be free moving forward. Anything is possible, but in the hands of evil men, it will turn out to be for our detriment. So there are good people out there with good code, but then again, it won't be enough to reach the majority to free us, in my opinion. So let me share with you some more recent. So this is what we had. I shared this article yesterday. This is what we were told. And look at the time frame. In 2017, September 2017, Jamie Dimon says Bitcoin is a fraud. Okay, so I'm talking about Jamie Dimon hands today just because of the most recent news and me being able to pinpoint how he was the reason why earlier on the consensus model was changed, because code is not law and people lost value, you know what I'm saying, a while ago. And you might be one of them. So it just moved right along. So, okay, so this was 2017. This was 2021. Jamie Dimon is just one finance lender not buying the Bitcoin hype as it heads back to its record high. So this is in October. So this is when Bitcoin and all the other projects was getting ready to go up. Mind you, this is what we're being told, but his bag is bigger than yours. His bag of cryptos is bigger than yours, for sure. I'm going to prove it. Here are 18 other skeptics. So peep this list, 18 other skeptics. And so these are the front people for the globalist agenda. The same people who create the problems, they're helping orchestrate the reaction and the solution, right? Right now as we speak. Let's look at this list. Jerome Powell was number one. Michael Burry, Janet Yellen, Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett's been very vocal. I wouldn't buy that if it was free type of talk. Oh, really? His bag is probably big too. Neil Kashkari, we got Bill Gates. Yeah, he's very optimistic. He's very critical of whatever he has. I can show you a patent that he has that will turn your body into a crypto. Okay, sure. Christine Lagarde, very outspoken. Charlie Munger, Peter Thiel, PayPal guy. He's a PayPal guy. So I was like, he's changed his tune. Ken Griffin, whatever. And Nassim, Paul Krugman, yeah, just puppet of puppets. Jerry Grantham, Larry Fink. Oh, yeah. His bags is real big, I'm sure. Anyway, Naroda Beanie. Okay, so these are just some outspoken people that are part of the, they're right now, they're all in Davos right now. They're probably just getting on their jets right now, leaving right now out of Davos because they got their plan together. Okay, I say all that because the narrative changed. Here we have today, Jamie Dimon, JPMorgan says Bitcoin slides has created significant upside for crypto investors. So what happened to it's the fraud, skeptic, even on his way up, but now it's 20,000, 29, 30,000. Oh, all of a sudden now we're told. This is all headline stuff. I'm just highlighting what we're told because it's all a lie on the surface. Jamie Dimon has created significant upside. Oh, so yeah. So now he's giving press conferences saying, oh, you might want to buy the dip. You know what I'm saying? You want to buy the dip. Oh, okay, sure. Okay, so just to show you how much of a farce all this is and how they are the perpetrators of the Hegelian dialectic on behalf of their overseers, which are the too big to fail banks and the oligarch families above them that own all of them and via shares and own central banks and all that stuff like that. It's a conglomerate of individuals. But then again, these are their front men. These are their front women. These are their puppets. And they've been lying to you all along. They've been in the crypto before it was even crypto. So listen to this interview right here, and then I'm gonna dive in more.
Had JPMorgan started paying attention to Ethereum blockchain technology.
Give me 1 second. This is what you do when you work on the fly.
JPMorgan started paying attention to Ethereum blockchain technology even before public mainnet was released. So they started experimenting and building out some things when we were still building proofs of concept. They had a handful of different teams that focused on blockchain technology, and we've interacted with them roughly from the start. We started to interact with them in a really concerted way around the time of the advent of the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance. So we were two of the major drivers of that initiative and have been two of the major drivers of activity inside the EEA since launch, really.
The Ethereum team is really one of the most remarkable that I've ever had the privilege of working on. It's a wonderful mix of both old and new. There's some senior software developers, people who work for Goldman Sachs off Wall Street. We have very young entrepreneurs on the team, older entrepreneurs.
So there you have a admission of by one of the founders or higher ups in the Ethereum blockchain that before they were even launched, before the blockchain was even launched, JPMorgan, aka Jamie Dimon Hands, had already put forth the funds to launch Ethereum. And so let me share with you who that gentleman is that I was playing a video from, so you can understand that he's a big player. So here we have on the screen, as you guys can see here, we have Joseph Lubin. And so he's the consensus and he's a founder of Consensus. So give you an idea of his background. That was the guy that was speaking. Joseph Lubin is a co-founder of blockchain computing platform Ethereum and the founder of Consensus Systems, a blockchain venture studio. And so he was one of the founding guys. Him and a couple other people were in there initially. And that video just revealed that during an interview, he talked about how before even the chain was done, they already had backers. So who are those backers? Oh, here's the backers right here on the screen. Let me show you. These are the backers to the EEA, Ethereum Enterprise Alliance. JPMorgan is a part of the Ethereum. This is just something I grab offline. But look at the JPMorgan's on here. We got Daimler, we got the CME Group, we got Airbus, American Express, and this is a little bit of older one, so I can give you an updated one. So here we got a more detailed one. So we got UBS, ING Insurance, we got BBVA. So these are the backers. So they put forth the funds to fund John Lubin, Vitlalik Buterin, Charles Hoskinson from Cardano, and Gavin from Polkadot and all the other people that we don't know about. But then you heard Charles Hoskin says that it was a mixture of Goldman Sachs developers and the older legacy system developers and the young kids, the young guns, including them. So imagine a room, 10, 20 teenage MIT, young, hungry, students in a sense. Vitlalik Buterin was like 19 years old. He's a front puppet. And all those other guys. And then you got the old men from the banks. Well, you got all of them in one room, funded by JPMorgan and UBS and all those banks I just showed you. Do you think the consensus overall for what they were putting in that code was something designed to make your life more efficient, smarter, and better for the future? My guess would be no. That's just me. I could be wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong. But once again, you got a person mentioning
JPMorgan
that you got him mentioning that before the coin was launched, JPMorgan was already involved. Okay, so it's good to say Ethereum is JPMorgan's coin. That's good to say. Okay, so let me just dive in further. The reason I brought this up about code, because in 2016, when Ethereum forked, there was a lot of concerns because the smart contract created, which was the very first project put on their blockchain, if I can put it on the screen here, the DAO attack. So for any of my people, crypto people that's been around for a while, and you remember this. And so to give you just, a firsthand experience of my involvement in that. So as I mentioned before, I've been aware of the sector for quite some time. And so I can give you my 2 cents on it from experience on how this DAO attack was basically, to sum it all up to save time, Ethereum, but maybe a month or so after having come up with the idea of creating a decentralized autonomous organization, a DAO, which is what becoming popular now, the Ethereum community came up with this smart contract. It was problematic, had some bugs in it. It got hacked. And let me see here. Let me see. It says 150 million was stolen. It said DAO tokens were tradable on various exchanges. So on May 28, 2016, anybody who had Ethereum tokens was, for the most part, airdropped some DAO tokens. And so that was a part of the governance model. So, of course, the more tokens you had, the more Ethereum you had, the more tokens you received. So you got DAO tokens. And so, just to share with you my story, as an early, adopter in this space, I received DAO tokens. And so when DAO tokens were airdropped, in a sense, that was value brought out of nothing that was put into the hands of the initial investors, i.e. the holders. And so there was a problem a month or two later, a month to be exact. And so there was an attack on the DAO. Coins were exploited. And this was a defining moment to where the crypto community went 2 different ways. And so this just goes to show how code is always subject to change depending on the agendas and the need of the one that funds it and the ones that wrote it. So I say all this to say that moving forward in this great reset, based upon all the things that we're now aware of, with Jamie Dimon being public, Ethereum was a part of his needs for his agenda. They're using a private version of Ethereum right now as we speak that's not public. But then again, they're changing the consensus model now from proof of work to proof of stake. That's not by accident. I got my thoughts on that. But so this was some major stuff that was taking place during this era, because it exposed the true agendas. To me, this was 6 years ago. And so here's a little quick excerpt I'm going to read to you so you guys can understand, no matter what project you're a fan of, if you didn't write the code, you don't control the consensus model, your coins could go poof, just like mine did. So it says here, this is just a quote from the article. The dispute mulled over a method to permanently alter the blockchain's history by changing the code and reversing the hack. So the argument at that time was, if code is law, the code has been written, we can't change it. But then again, what happened was Jamie Dimon and crew lost a lot of funds. So Jamie Dimon, the first funder, and his whole crew, their funds were stolen by a third party, second party that wasn't supposed to happen. You better believe from way up top, Jamie Dimon probably got on the phone, called Vitlalik, hey, change the code. You need to reverse this. Get me my money back. And then sure enough, the question was, if we do a soft fork, it'll be, we could just reverse it. We can just tweak the code, reverse it, pull those funds back, will be good. Argument was, no, once you change the code, once you do this, trust will be lost, because people will then know all code is programmable. Therefore, it can be changed. You know what I'm saying? And so guess what happened? They hard forked and they basically changed the code, and then they created a whole new chain. And here we are now. Most people don't really know this, that the Ethereum that you're looking at now is not real. It's not the real Ethereum. And so to finish this, it says, by changing the code, it says such action defies the very meaning of immutability in a blockchain. So a lot of people are sold on the idea that blockchains are immutable, meaning that they can't change. Once they're done, they are that way, because that was the agreed upon terms when the code was written and it was put out there, and people start buying shares or taking coins from that particular project, that it can't change. It says, although some suggested the action is justifiable if a majority agrees to the modification. So what that's saying is the consensus. And, for those that's coming in late, I'm ranting from something I shared in the social platform. So if you get first dibs, if you could join the Telegram, join Discord. But this goes back to something I put out there. Let me find it real quick. So I said earlier when I shared this, and I said, remember, while we're being distracted on the illusions of digital wealth, not your code, not your consensus, not your coins. And so this is me speaking from firsthand experience about being involved in this hack. and how the coins can go poof. And when they go poof, that's all she wrote. So anyway, question was, is code law? Shouldn't consensus rule determine the outcome? And this is what I was getting to. Jamie Dimon Hands was responsible for writing the code. He funded the code. Vitlalik changed it because Jamie was losing money. Now, fast forward, this upcoming August, they're changing the algorithm again, or the consensus model again, to go proof of stake. So proof of work to proof of stake, which is just going to change the entire monetary system, but it's been done on purpose, in my opinion, because pretty soon Bitcoin will be the target. Bitcoin will be the target because it's the last of the big behemoths that's on proof of work. Proof of work, you can't have proof of work consuming all the energy and then have us in a green carbon-free environment. Something has to give. So you better believe that they're going to change the code of Bitcoin as well moving forward. It doesn't take much overall, because all you got to do is just, put pressure on. If the players up top put pressures on the financial institutions, which are the backers of all the miners, because now all the mining companies, for the most part, are going public. They're publicly traded companies now. So the shareholders in those publicly traded companies now can put pressure on those companies and say, hey, 2024, 2025, we got an upgrade coming. We're going to take Bitcoin from proof of work to proof of stake. You do it, or we're going to yank we're going to sell all of our shares. Your company going to go belly up. And then it's going to make the blockchain vulnerable because the company going to go out of business. They're going to take the mining rigs offline. So yeah, that's my point. Consensus is always going to change because the funders the funders that backed the initial project, they still have the biggest bags. So you better believe Jamie Dimon's bags right now of Ethereum is nice and big, to where whenever he needs, he calls Vitlalik and say, hey, I need this, I need that. And Bitcoin is no different, because the mining rigs are now, the majority of the power concentration comes from 2 or 3 different mining hash rigs and whatever. The mining companies are now publicly traded companies. And then here in the US, by the time they get ready to change the consensus, majority of the hash rate power will be coming from the US. So once all the orange peel politicians are exposed for being fake and fraudulent, they're going to definitely turn their back on Bitcoin. And it's going to be easier to cause the 2024, bear market, a 2025 bear market, which will lead to the changing of the algorithms and so forth. So, it's quite, hopefully you guys can see how this plays out so smoothly. Like, this is perfectly timed. And this is all part of the distraction and the diversion tactics. And also, I'm ranting a little bit, but I came up with a new term to describe all this. And so I'm gonna share this with you when we go live at 4 p.m. And I think you guys it'll resonate well with you. But to sum all this up, if you don't write the code, that means the people who funded it did, and their agendas go behind it. Therefore, consensus models, or the governance side of that, is subject to the people who got the biggest bags, who got the most money, will ultimately determine the outcome of how the coins are treated and operated. And the DAO coins, which is it's a smart contract. The first one put on Ethereum, it got hacked. Jamie lost his funds. He got pissed. They changed the code. They forked. Ethereum Classic is the original Ethereum blockchain. It's going to be important moving forward, in my opinion. Ethereum, ETH, the one the world loves right now, that's Jamie's coin. That's Jamie's blockchain and the banker's blockchain. They are going to change the consensus, go proof of stake, because they got the biggest bags. They can control the biggest bags, control the consensus. Mind you, if all the too big to fail banks got the biggest bags, do you think that chain gonna remain the same? No. Same thing with Bitcoin. When they're gonna change the consensus, the biggest bags gonna be the key players, in my opinion, you moving forward. But point is, when the consensus changed on Ethereum, they forked. The smart contract in the middle was resolved. I think they end up, they end up backtracking and end up being able to pull off, 50 million or so worth of coins to get back to Jamie. Jamie took an L, but then all the other people who had DAO coins, such as myself, my coins was gone. Poof. Wallet was poof, nothing in there. You know what I'm saying? So that's how fast it can happen if you're dealing with something that is created by the same people running this transition, and it's their code, their smart tracks, and all that other stuff. So just my whole little spiel about how during this global reset, the way that it's planned, no code is not immutable, because it's subject to change based upon the people behind the agenda. So no matter what your favorite project is, I'm telling you, especially if they partner with the World Economic Forum, I would be concerned just because they got plans and your financial well-being is not a part of it. But that's just my rant. Anyway, I'm curious to hear your thoughts. I could be 100% wrong. I hope I am. Leave your thoughts, ideas, suggestions, comments in the chat, or bring it to the live stream. We're going to stream at 4 p.m. Hopefully, you guys will join me there. Share your 2 cents. Most importantly, Veritasium went poof too. Veritasium didn't go poof, but it can be revitalized. But then again, it's an uphill battle, and I don't think Reggie's going to be able to fight that one, in my opinion. I got my reasons why that is too. Anyway, I'm tired of ranting right now. I got to get me some water, refresh my palate. But anyway, my hit the thumbs up, share this if you guys enjoyed it back and forth. Take the link to the 4 p.m., share it on your side, your social media platforms, invite some family and friends so they can join the community and get a dose of the reality pill. That's my next rant. The reality pill. It gives you the whole shebang minus any fluff. Anyway, I'm curious to get your guys' thoughts on this visual aid as well. So, but this is it. This is what I would say. I'm gonna put this. I put this on the Telegram. I put it in Discord. Take this, download this, save it, put this on your social media. Tag your favorite crypto people in it, and then make sure you tag RTD or Rethinking the Dollar in it, so they can come back and prove me wrong. I would love to be proven wrong because hey, I don't got to be right. Anyway. That being the case, see you guys at 4 p.m. Peace.
Next recession.
Recession will be a recession.
We're going to hit a recession.
The date of the next recession.
A U.S.-only recession typically lasts 8 to 10 months.
A crash is coming. Now, whether it's 6 months from now, 12 months, 36 months, no one knows.
If you have the right plan to set up, you can make a lot of money from this.